Welcome back to the O&G StrikeZone, ladies and gentlemen. Bryan Fulford, Kelvin Rozier here, and it's a pleasure to be joined by the Associate AD for Communications and Digital Strategies, but more importantly, the two-time O&G award-winning Administrator of the Year, none other than Josh Padilla. Josh, welcome back to the O&G.
Of course. Thank you all for having me. Uh-oh.
Let's see.
Bryan gets sniped.
Nah, you're good. We got you.
I'm good. Okay, Bryan froze on my screen. No, it's great to be back. Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
no, it's good to be back, and I do put that on my resume. Two-time O&G StrikeZone Athletic Administrator of the Year. It's something definitely proud of because it's voted on by Rattler Nation, and it's good knowing that they respect and appreciate the work that myself and my team of people have done over the last 3.5 years here at FAMU.
Well, absolutely. You definitely appreciate it, man. You've been the hardest working man administrator on campus since you've been here. So you got any new news you want to share with Rattler Nation?
Yeah. So I did recently accept a job at Kent State University. So, this past Monday was my last home game, working, at Florida A&M, men's basketball. So, it's good. I'm glad they won, so I get to leave on the high note. Really the perfect weekend. Just, with men and women sweeping, UAPB and Mississippi Valley. But yeah, accepted a job at Kent State. That was a great opportunity for myself to continue to grow and, kind of go somewhere where I'll be able to have more help on a regular day-to-day basis. So, it was a tough decision for sure because, I've really enjoyed being here the last 3.5 years. It's been a lot of fun. And I know I'm probably the only person to leave that's not going to FIU. But that's when I told people I was leaving, they said, "Oh, Willie got you too?" I said, "No, I'm actually heading the opposite direction." I'm headed the opposite direction, but no, it's been a lot of fun. And I'll definitely miss a lot of the people that I've worked with, a lot of student athletes, and just all the winning too, because there's been a lot of winning the time since I've been here across the board, just about every single sport.
Yeah. So Josh, I want to ask you one thing because I think it's really important to kind of for Rattler Nation to hear everything. So I kind of want you to talk about, you did a lot of amazing things, man, which is why we appreciate you. But kind of talk about your team and the kind of staff you was working with while making all this happen.
Yeah, so we had throughout most of my time here, one full-time assistant and a couple OPS part-time or hourly workers, and really leaned heavily on the students, which they really were the ones that kind of helped make this thing go. Without them, for sure, wouldn't have been able to do half the things that we've been able to do. So that's really it. But one full-time and a couple hourly part-time as far as that are there on a regular basis. So that's kind of what it's been working with. At the place I'm going, Kent, they have 4 full-time, like 5 GAs plus students. So that's kind of that was really like the main reason. I talked to Angela, and she asked me like, what can we do? I said, it's really not even about the money. It's just more so just being able to have more resources, more people, just to be able to work with.
Well, thank you, man, and I appreciate you sharing that because that is something that we as Rattler Nation, we say we brag different. We, things we got to kind of work on and try to help the athletic department so that you have, you know, that whoever's in the chair has the resources, so they don't have to work as hard. So thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, Josh, I remember meeting you for the first time. I think it was at a SWAC Media Day. Man, I think that was our first year going into the SWAC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, first year going into the SWAC. And so and like you said, there's been a lot of winning that has happened in that time period. I mean, it makes the job fun when there's a lot of winning, right?
Right.
I'd like for you to share maybe what have been some of your more memorable events to cover, or maybe photo shoots or the video packages. I mean, you've done a lot, but maybe take us down memory lane over the past 4 years of some of the more memorable or enjoyable things that you had an opportunity to witness or cover.
Yeah, well, for me personally, my most enjoyable one was recently just this volleyball championship that we won. It was the first time that, you know, their second championship, I, you know, flew out after the classic and met them for championship Sunday. But this past one, you know, I was traveling with them. I was with them for all 3 matches, and so that was probably my favorite. Most memorable. Just being with the team the whole time, and then, you know, seeing them still win despite, you know, one of the best players, you know, suffering an injury in the game before in the semifinals, and you know, winning despite the injury. So that was probably my favorite. Obviously, the Celebration Bowl, like, you know, that's one of the obvious answers. You know, being at my first Florida Classic. That one was, you know, outstanding. Going to the Charlie Sifford Centennial Cup, that one was an awesome experience as well. Going to, you know, such a big time major course, and some of it too is just the whole traveling in general. You know, I've had some crazy long trips covering multiple teams. Probably one of the craziest for me was we had my first Florida Classic. So we had that. We left on like a Thursday. After the game, drove down to Miami to meet up with men's basketball, and then we went from Miami to UTEP. I forgot what school we played, but we were in LA, and football made the playoffs that year. So after the game that night, we took a red eye to Atlanta, from Atlanta to New Orleans, and drove up to or down to I can't even think of the city where southeastern Louisiana is, but you know, so that was like a 11 or 12-day trip. And then probably another one that I really enjoyed was we went up to Akron. We played Akron with men's basketball, and we visited the I Promise School, LeBron's I Promise School. So that was an extremely unique, fun experience. And track at NCAAs, national championships with Rachel Robertson. You know, we went and visited the Nike headquarters. So, you know, I've been extremely fortunate to visit some amazing places. You know, and just, you know, so I definitely am very thankful for FAMU for, you know, giving me the opportunity to be able to travel with all these teams, go to all these places, and experience all these, you know, memories, and we're also just making, you know, friends and lifelong friends during my time here.
That's some good stuff. Man, you know, as you say all that, and I do think about the travel, and when you came into this role, and you know, Courtney, you were with Courtney Gaucher, brought you in, former AD, and he brought you in. And so when you think back to your initial conversations, when Courtney wanted to bring you into FAMU, and now as you leave FAMU, what have some of the expectations maybe exceeded what you envisioned? Talk a little bit about that journey from expected, what you didn't know, what you learned about yourself, what you learned about working with the resources that you had, having to make things happen sometimes when it might seem impossible. because we see all the stuff out front. And I mean, man, you and your team made FAMU look as great as we all feel it is. And we see the performance from the student athletes who represent the university so well. So that's why I'm like a big fan of yours and we salute you and commend you here. But talk a little bit about that, if you would, just that, from what you came in to expecting, what you were told, and as you leave and what you've experienced. Talk a little bit about that process, if you can.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I first talked to Courtney, because even though I worked at Middle Tennessee and he worked there as well, we did not work there together. So I didn't know him personally. I've heard about him. But, he reached out to, one of my coworkers told me about the job. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to go back to Florida and try something new. And so when I talked to Courtney, he basically told me, like, we want to really have someone here that's going to focus and prioritize, ramping up the digital aspect of things. And so, like, I knew for sure, like I said, I told him, like, hey, no problem. Like, we're going to kill it. Like, I already knew that for sure. Just knowing what I did at Middle, I knew I'd be able to do it here as well. I think for me, the biggest challenge coming in was learning all of the traditional communication, sports information director stuff, because it's something I had never done before. So, that was probably the biggest challenge initially coming in. I knew how to operate the website sidearm just from doing it at Middle Tennessee. But as far as, doing weekly game notes and, making sure I'm on top of nominating student athletes for Player of the Week awards and trying to focus on writing the best nominations for all SWAC and Player of the Years. So that was probably the biggest thing. The biggest thing that I needed to learn. But yeah, I knew we were gonna do really well digitally. But I definitely think we exceeded my expectations of what I thought we would do. And truly, I thank all the students that have been here along the way, and then non-students that came in to volunteer and wanted to learn as well and get the experience. Because that's really taken things, to a whole nother level as far as what we were able to do. And I still believe that the students that are there right now are going to be capable of keeping things going, especially from a digital side, to looking really good.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Kelvin. Kelvin there.
Josh, I want you to talk about launching. Yeah, y'all got me?
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we got you.
Okay. All right. So, Josh, I want you to talk about, if you would, because I know this has been one area where I've heard a lot of questions. Just talk about Rattler Plus launching that and the thought process with Rattler Plus. And then I'm interested your take on how the SWAC does their digital, with each school kind of doing their own thing, particularly with basketball, and what is the industry stand with that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So starting the Rattlers Plus, it was more so just to kind of be a place to where, you could have like a one-stop shop to go to for, mic'd ups, different interviews. We wanted to do a lot more like game replays. But ESPN owns the rights to all those, so like we were never able to really put them on there. And especially like the Celebration Bowl when we won that, like I was asking them, I was emailing 20 different people trying to get an okay to get that on there, but they were never gonna give us that clearance. But it was really more so just to kind of see, a lot of behind the scenes type stuff, the mic'd ups and the different interviews to try to get to know, different student athletes. And one of the main reasons we just put the games on there as well is because oftentimes anything that we put on maybe YouTube or Facebook, would maybe get flagged due to like music playing in the arenas. So, there's been times like where we experienced like the feeds getting shut down mid-game just because there was music being played in the arenas. So that was the main thing. And we wanted to try to do some more of those little mini series, with the football team, and we wanted to try to get it out to more teams, but it gets challenging just with the lack of video people, and then plus like there's so many sports going on at once. So we did it for just those first games for football seasons, each season that we started it. And what was the other questions? I forgot.
Basically basketball is frustrating
Oh,
for me
yeah.
when we travel.
Okay, yeah. No, I got you.
Yeah.
So I think for the most part, most people are on ESPN. Like most conferences have like an ESPN deal to where all of their sports are ESPN plus. So, and oftentimes each school does produce their own program. So like when I was at middle, their communication school, they produced all of our ESPN plus events. So they had a big truck that they owned, and so they produced everything. I do think part of the reason that we don't is maybe just the ESPN deal with the SWAC may not be as good as some of the other conferences. And I know the SWACers, they're slowly working towards trying to have, their SWAC digital network where they hire people to basically produce all the games that are then housed on like a sidearm per se or SWAC digital network, whether they want to do YouTube or however they may do it. Like when I was at Middle Tennessee, before any game that wasn't ESPN Plus was on the CUSA network, which was basically the school's websites, and you paid like a fee for one team, and you can watch like all the schools play. But I know they got away from that, and they're just strictly all ESPN Plus for everything now, and occasionally CBS Sports Network. So it just kind of depends on the conference's TV deal.
Thank you for that information. That's good stuff.
All right, Josh, I got a couple of exit interview questions here for you. Now, first off, I got to make mention because I've seen not just one, but I've seen a couple people mention. So shout out to Kenya and Ashley. They're itching for that hat, Josh. Now, I'm not advocating that you auction it off or that anything like that, but if you can give them any sort of all of us, because I mean that's a great hat, by the way. I'm gonna zoom in on it there for you guys. But if there's any leads or tips, anybody we can contact on that hat, go ahead. You feel free to go ahead and share. Anybody we can blow up, anybody's email. I don't know.
I mean, I think the only people that got it are the players and the coaches and anyone that was on the field after the Celebration Bowl and that was fortunate enough to grab a hat when they were handing them out. There were people on the field that had nothing to do with FAMU trying to grab a hat. So it was a lot of mayhem going on. It definitely was a lot of mayhem going on.
I bet. So that you hold on to that one because there's some value then to that one, no doubt. Okay, so one of two exit questions. Number one, what is a project or something that you wanted to cover or do that you didn't get a chance to for whatever reason? Whether it be resources, timing. What's a project or something that you wish you had more time to do, or that you wanted to get off the ground and never quite did?
Honestly, just doing more, being able to do more little mini series with multiple teams. And that was just due to the lack of bodies, because those are very time consuming to do as far as just recording and editing. So like for instance, one 13-minute video might take like a week or two just to edit alone. So that doesn't even include like shooting the video part. So not being able to do more of those is probably the one thing that kind of wish was able to do. But it's like I said, just lack of resources, and it's an issue that's most Division I or college athletics programs deal with. It's not just the issue here. The real big ones, they like the P4 schools, they'll have Learfield who they'll hire freelance to work on those type of projects. So some of those bigger schools, they don't even have in-house people working on them. They'll have freelancers who are there just dedicated on creating content for a Rattlers Plus. That then they sell for sponsorships to sponsor the videos and things of that nature. So some of those bigger schools on their Rattlers Plus type platform, they don't even have in-house people working on them.
That's good info, good intel to know. And I guess that feels like maybe a lead to my next question, which maybe has to do with growing. In order to be, I feel like in the before Josh era, I felt like there was there definitely was a difference before Josh and after Josh. But what are some things that you would see, or do you think FAMU can do, should be striving to do to continue to grow the athletic brand as it relates to not only maybe digitally, but how it, from a communication standpoint, from that aspect? What are some things that you think FAMU can look to do in the future, or should be looking to do in the future?
So I think one big thing is, making the communications and digital kind of separate, in a sense of that they work together, but their own departments. So like, I don't think there should be one person just kind of doing both, right? You should have your communications department where you have people that are just focused on the traditional side, and then you have the digital media department that's focused on the digital side. And then also, I think, you'd be able to have people come into his own little broadcasting department where they're focused on, strictly on the broadcast, because, that's something that people, when they watch the game, they see everything. So you can have all the commercials and everything like that. They can have the broadcast team work with the digital team to say, we want to make a 1-minute interview that we can play during a break, or a 5-minute interview to play during halftime. So things like that, just being able to kind of split it up to where they're all working together, but it's, not 2 or 3 people working on everything.
Good stuff. Appreciate that. Kelvin, you got a final exit interview question here for Josh?
I do not. I just want to take this opportunity to thank him for his service to Florida A&M University. Everything you did was top notch, man. You did it with a great temperament, professionalism, and you definitely deserve to move on to bigger and better things. And I wish you well at your next stop. And I just want to say thank you, man, for everything you did.
Yeah, no, of course. And like I said, it's been great being here the last 3.5 years. I did bring out my rings here. I basically got a ring from every single sport except for maybe that first volleyball one. So I just wanted to take the time to kind of show that, if that's cool with y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We like championship.
Hold on, there
here's
you go.
The first volleyball one that I got. This was their second one. They're back to back. What was after volleyball? I think it was tennis. So then you have the tennis one here.
Yeah.
So that one was a lot of fun going to as well.
Show all them. Hey Brian, you gonna have to clip this and show all the rest of them swag schools. We gotta.
Yeah. The baseball one. After baseball, I believe it was cross country. So here's a cross country one.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And then the SWAC championship.
Football one, right?
I'm trying to find trying to find a place. Yeah, for football. Trying to find a place where I can have my own man cave. Stacy, she can have her own room for her YouTube videos and everything, and
You need a
so I can
case, a
put all this
trophy
stuff
room
on
case at
display.
this
Yeah,
point.
exactly. Celebration bowl
Mm.
ring, and then the top comes
Yeah.
off. You got the brag on the inside,
Look at this
and then
guy.
it turns into a little
Right.
pennant. So, hold on, I have two more left.
So we got to get you a case.
Women's
See,
indoor
Stacy's got to
track.
get you a case for Christmas. So you got to get you a nice ring case now.
Yeah, exactly. Women's indoor track, and then this is the biggest one. Golf went all out for theirs.
Woo! Good gosh.
It's too heavy. It could barely even wear it.
It's that's why we don't see Coach Rice wearing that thing. That thing,
yeah,
it
weighs a lot. And then this is the 17th hole at TPC, and then
Put that
same
one
as
up again.
football.
Let me see that one again, Josh. Let me see that 17th. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. So
nice.
And then just waiting for volleyball from this past year. So.
Yeah, I'm telling you. We got to get the photo of how many in total is that? Are you at?
That's
about
8. I
think
do have
right?
this one too, but I don't really. This is that 2021. I don't really.
Yeah.
These are the ones I really cherish.
You're the same thing,
yeah.
Hey. Yeah, you got to. So when you get the last one, Josh, you got to make sure to take a photo where you got all 10 of them.
I will.
Hey, so Josh, how many years you worked at FAMU?
3.5.
And with 14 sports, and you just showed us 10, and waiting on another ring.
8 rings, waiting for another. I didn't get the first volleyball one, so that's 10 championship rings right there in 3.5 years. So
yeah, Bryan, Mr. Kelvin, we're gonna clip this.
I need to go back and look and see, but I remember last time I looked, in all the sports that we compete in, I think Prairie View was the only school that won more than us.
In that time period, in this time period.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they win a lot of they were winning a lot of tracks and bowlings and softballs. We should have a couple more, but just didn't get it done. But it's hard. It's definitely hard.
It is. Right. Winning's hard, and I'm telling you, man, you play a big part in. I mean, like I said, it's a wheel, and everybody has their part. From the coaches to the student athletes, everybody behind the scenes. It takes a great organization, and Josh, you've been amazing to communicate and work with over the past 4 years. A pleasure to always see on the road, whether it's in Tallahassee or out on the road, man. And we appreciate you. And I think I'm gonna say this for all of the other. I know, like some of the shows and other podcasts and all the other media folks who work with you. I'm going to speak on behalf of all of them, man. It's a pleasure to work with you at FAMU over the past 4 years. You make our jobs very easy in being able to tell the stories of great people. Like we got Cheyenne coming up here on the other side, and her and all the coaches and everybody that we get a chance to speak with and access that you make possible. We thank you, and you're a big part of helping us tell the story to Rattler Nation. And so, we salute you, and we thank you for everything you've done and everything that you've been a part of at FAMU over the past 3.5 to 4 years. So we wish you nothing but great success, and we look forward to seeing how you tear it up there in the MAC, tearing it up in the MAC. You're going to make everybody in the MAC jealous. They'll be like, what the heck? So,
no, for sure. We'll definitely do better. And I do want to say I appreciate you all for the show, because you guys, y'all do some of the things that I wanted to do, being able to do more interviews and things like that with coaches and players. But, sometimes I just need a little break. And I said, well, there's the O&G StrikeZone. They're going to get the interviews out with the coaches and the players. So, I definitely appreciate you all with everything you all have done, and I know you continue to do.
Well, thank you, Josh, man. We
thank you,
appreciate
Josh. And I'm blaming Josh since he's going to Kent State, since he's going to Ohio. I am blaming you, Josh, for this snow that we got this weekend.
That's fine. My mom said that's just them getting me ready for Ohio.
Yes, sir.
That's why the snow came.
Right,
so
you
I'll
sure you
take the
want to
blame.
go up there? Ohio, it's cold up there. I know she had to say.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know I'm gonna miss this place a lot, especially the weather. And
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Definitely all the winning. So.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, again, you're keeping all your handles will stay the same and everything, Josh, so people can always follow along and all that stuff.
Yeah. I think it'll stay the same. Coach Westside, even though I'm not a coach, it's something I did for fun. I was gonna start doing some YouTube TikToks of me playing the NCAA game as Coach Westside. Never did, but I'm gonna just leave it the same.
All right. Well, again, Josh, on behalf of Rattler Nation and all of the podcast and media folks who cover FAMU athletics, we salute you. We thank you and wish you nothing but great success. And we can't wait to see what big things are in store in your future. And so I look forward to seeing you down the road, my friend, and be well. All right.
All right. Thank you. Thanks up.
Indeed. One last time, ladies and gentlemen, Joshua Padilla. Be well, Josh. Take care now.
All right. Thank you all. You too.
All right, man. That's tough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, whew. All right. We're gonna take a salute. Salute to Josh. And we thank Josh for his service to FAMU. So you guys make sure to hit Josh up and let him know you appreciate him and all that he has done and given to FAMU over the past